parents. Being a parent, you know your child in a way no one else can. If your child is eligible for getting an Individualized Education Program, IEP, you should be curious to know about IEP. You will be part of your child's IEP team. You need to understand the rights that protect your child's education journey. 12 key points of IDEA. Free appropriate public education, FAPE, is one of the key points that explains that every child is eligible for free appropriate public education, which is appropriate for one child may not be appropriate for the others. Second component, least restrictive environment. It accommodates your child needs based on his or her ability and disabilities. The environment confirms that the child's needs are addressed in that environment. Classroom environment is the least restrictive environment. Referral process would be anybody like parents or school personnel or others may make a request for evaluation, nurse or any school employee. The very first component of the IEP process is the referral process. Evaluation process, the idea is individual, it's an act that was founded by President Ford, and it categorizes that 13 types of disabilities included in special education services that are covered. 13 categories. In order to be eligible for special education services, your child must be identified within those categories. Eligibility determination. There are 13 categories of special education for students aged from 3 to 21: autism, blindness, deafness, emotional disturbance, hearing impairment, mental retardation, intellectually disabled, multiple disabilities, orthopedic impairment, other health impaired, specific learning disability, speech or language impairment, traumatic brain injury, and visual impairment. Traumatic brain injury and visual impairment. IEP components. What are those IEP components? The parents and the school staff will plan the IEP at IEP team meeting. Parent and student involvement. The evaluation system involves the school staff, agency, parents, and students to review results to determine eligibility. Quarterly progress monitoring. The parents will receive a report as often as given regularly, which is a quarterly report to the parents from the school. Annual review process. The IEP team meets every year to discuss the progress of the student. And procedural safeguards. The procedural safeguards inform parents about the rights and protections. Procedural safeguards save the rights that persons have. It protects them when they are in their interactions with federal, state, and local government. Prior written notice. It's part of the procedural safeguards to send prior written notice for parents' consent to access educational records. Related services. Related services include transportation, interpretation, psychological hearing aid or braille, etc., to receive the benefit of the special education services. There are more than 7.5 million as of school year 2018-19, 7.5 million eligible infants, toddlers, children, and youth who are receiving special education services through the Individualized Education Program, IEP. 7.5 million students eligible in 2018 to 19. To receive special education services, the child must be in place of the least restrictive environment. It's the law that President Gerald Ford signed in 1975 and created the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. And according to the law, what is appropriate for one child may not be appropriate for others. And every child is entitled to free appropriate public education, FAPE. There are 5 mandatory components of IEP. 1, referral. Anyone from a school as a teacher or administrator or parent can refer to evaluate a child. It's primarily the school that is responsible to identify and evaluate the students. This is called child find. And now evaluation. The special education assessment provides the IEP team information that will be used to determine if your child has one of the 13 types of eligible disabilities defined by the IDEA and therefore qualifies them for special education services. Eligibility, check the list of 13 categories of special education defined as the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. You will know who is eligible for special education services. 4, writing the individual education program. You and your school staff will plan together the child's IEP goals and IEP team meeting. And that IEP team meeting is a facilitated IEP team coordinator will allow parents to have access from the referral section to special education services. That IDEA has programs to be covered. Everybody needs to be at the consensus level in the IEP meeting, meaning consensus level, meaning that it might not be 100% agree, but at least at some point agree at some point, not 100%, but agree at some point. That's consensus level. Parents, schools, personnel, students, or others may make a request for evaluation. Reference of this article is U.S. Department of Education 2016, Understanding Special Education, law.com 2019, Pacer Center Inc. 2020, Understanding the Special Education Process, Education Service Center Region 13, 2020, a facilitated IEP meeting. IDEA 2020, 45 years of Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. See right here, 2020, Individuals with Disability Education Act, and YouTube Special Education Speech video. Thank you.